How's everybody doing? Good? Excellent. Turn in your Bibles, if you would, to Matthew chapter 7. Matthew chapter 7. Everybody hear me okay? Am I on? No? I think I'm on. Check. Yeah, I'm there. Good. Matthew chapter 7. We're going to get there in just a minute. I'm excited this morning to have the opportunity to share with you. I'm especially excited about what I have to share because I think that what we're going to talk about this morning has the potential to honestly, genuinely, really transform the way we live our lives if we take it to heart. And if we're serious about it. And so I'm excited about this message. The message that I want to give to you this morning, what I want to teach on this morning, comes from a book I've been reading. I saw some of you glancing over the books back there. It's this book. It's got a great title called WEiRD. And the subtitle is Because Normal Isn't Working. The message comes from this book, WEiRD. It's written by Craig Groeschel, and he's the pastor of a fairly large church in Oklahoma City called Life Church. You may have heard of it before. It's been an incredibly inspiring and challenging book to read, and so that's why I'm really so excited to share some of the principles from this book with you today. So the book is titled the same as what I've titled the message this morning, WEiRD, Because Normal Isn't Working. So today, I want to talk to you about being weird. You're thinking, great, why did I come to church today? Yeah. I know some of you are also thinking, Scott, you're definitely qualified to teach on this subject. I will admit, I've been accused more than once in my life of being a little weird. Weird sometimes in bad ways. Weird sometimes in good ways. And perhaps even occasionally weird sometimes in a God way. How many of you know people who are weird in bad ways? They're just weird. Yeah, just raise your hands. Don't point at them. Yeah, I mean, sometimes we can be weird in just bad ways, right? That's just weird. It's not good. Nothing good about it. Sometimes we can be weird in incredibly destructive ways. Ways that aren't healthy for us. Ways that are not good. How many of you know people that are weird in good ways? Anybody know people that are weird in good ways? It's like, man, they're really weird, but there's something to that, and it's a really good thing. I wish I could get this thing to stay on my ear. I apologize for playing with it, but it's the problem when you have so many different people teach. Everybody's ear is shaped differently, so I have to mold it to mine a second. Yeah, a lot of times we can be good and weird in good ways, right? People who are weird and different, but it definitely has a positive impact on your lives. And you look, man, that's really strange, but it's a good thing. There are ways that we can be different that are good for us. Well, this morning, as we're talking about being weird, I'm not so much concerned about talking about being weird in good ways or weird in bad ways, but more importantly, I really want to talk to you about being weird in a God sort of way. Before I do, though, I just want to say from the start that unfortunately we really only have time this morning to scratch the surface of this topic. I mean, there's so much we could spend weeks and weeks talking about. And so what I want to do this morning actually is just give you a couple of general principles that are going to serve as sort of a foundation for beginning this journey of living a weird life in a God sort of way. And I think that that's a really essential place to begin, but I just want you to know that the journey doesn't end here, okay? I'm not going to say, okay, this is all there is to it. Go out and there you go, you're all set. But what we're really missing out on this morning is the important next step of discussing the practical life issues and what it means to be weird in those situations, because that's where the rubber hits the road, isn't it? Okay, it's one thing to talk about principles about how I really adjust my life to start living differently. It's another thing to look at our specific life circumstances and our situations and go, well, what do I do here? And so I think that sort of discussion is really vital if we want to take a message like this and allow it to really transform our lives and to really change us. So there's two things that I want to, before we really dig into the meat of the message, there's two things that I want to encourage you to do today. Number one is I want you, if you're willing, and if you're going to read it, I want you to get your hands on this book. because what this does is really takes it that next step and digs into some of the practical things. It really looks at, there's 5 specific topics that he addresses in this book. He looks at the issues of time, the issue of money, the issue of relationships, sex, and values. I said sex. You're like, can you say that in church? I did. And so it looks at those five issues. I have to say I'm really distracted because the bells are sitting on this side this morning, and I just can't even focus because I keep looking over here and like, where are the bells at today? Oh yeah, they're over here. So good on you for being weird, changing your seats, rocking the boat. Sorry, tangent. So it looks at these 5 specific topics, and it addresses kind of these issues of what's normal in our world, what's normal in those areas, and how we can learn to be weird in a God sort of way in those particular areas of our life, and really challenges us in those things. And so it looks at some of the practical issues of life, which is a really important next step, as I said, and where we probably won't get in our discussion this morning. So we actually have a few copies of the book available. There's 4 copies back there, and I have one here. The book costs $15. If you can afford it, there's baskets back there, and if you want to grab a copy of this book, first come, first serve, so whoever gets to them first can have them. But you can throw the money in the basket or whatever back. If you can't afford it, though, don't let it stop you from taking one, please. I believe in this enough, and that you guys need to get your hands on it, that if the $15 is a big deal to you, take it and read it. Okay? I want you guys to have this. I'd really love for you all to get your hands on this book. I've only got 5 of them because I didn't know, honestly, how many of you guys would take them, so I didn't want to buy the bookstore out and then have all these books sitting around. So there's also a sign-up sheet back there. If the 5 books are gone and you didn't get one and you want one, put your name on that book order form there, and I'll go this week and get whatever else we need, so we'll get our hands on them. So if you're interested in that, do that. The second thing that I really want to encourage you to do is that for those of you who are interested, we're going to offer a 6-week small group study on this book starting 2 weeks from today. Again, I really feel like it's vital for us to not only receive the information, but to have discussion and to wrestle with what does this mean for our lives. Unless we take that next step, this is just going to be information that you're going to receive, and it's really hard to make these sort of life changes just by yourself. Because when you're challenged with being weird and different and you come up against a wall, I guarantee your mind's going to play tricks on you. And you're going to say, no, I'm not going to do it. So anyway, some of you are looking for stuff to do anyways while we're in the interim of our life groups, and you want to keep meeting. This will give you a great opportunity to do that. Others of you just need to plug into it just because you need to do it. But I want to offer that to you. So there's a sign-up sheet on the back if you're interested in that. We're going to meet on Sunday evenings. We're going to meet here at the church starting in 2 weeks on August 7th. So if you need more info about that or anything, let me know. But I encourage you, sign up for that stuff. Get your hands on the book, and hopefully we can start living weird lives. Okay? Good. So let's talk this morning about being weird, now that stuff's out of the way. Before we dig into the specific principles that I want to give you this morning about being weird, I think there's probably perhaps an important preliminary question that we need to address when we're talking about this whole, and it's probably running through some of your minds right now as we're talking about living weird lives. And that question is, why in the world would I even want to pursue this journey of being weird? Okay? I mean, who in their right mind really wants to be weird, right? I guess some people do, but let's be honest about it. It's not always easy to be different, is it? It's not an easy journey to walk a different road. The images we often use when we talk about being weird or being different are of going against the grain or going against the current or swimming upstream. These are some of the metaphors that we sometimes use. How many of you have ever tried to swim or paddle upstream against a strong current? Anybody ever tried to do that? It's not an easy task, is it? It's incredibly challenging, and you probably reach a point as you're paddling or swimming where you're thinking to yourself, man, it would just be easier to turn around and go with the flow. Like, this would be a lot more fun and a lot more enjoyable if I didn't have to do so much work. It's difficult. It's uncomfortable. And it's much easier just to sort of go with the flow of things. Another image. How many of you have ever been in a large crowd of people? I'm talking massive crowd of people that are all moving one direction. And you're trying to go that direction. Anybody been there? Yeah, that's a similar situation. It's not easy to do that, is it? It's uncomfortable, it's difficult weaving your way through that crowd. And you're sorry, excuse me. And you're getting dirty looks from people because, let's face it, a lot of other people, when they're all moving one direction, don't like it very much when there's somebody that's opposing that and moving in the opposite direction. And so you get dirty looks and you get snarls and glares from people who are looking at you going, who in the world do you think you are? Join the crowd and go this direction. Okay? So it's not easy being weird. We like what's easy and comfortable and familiar, don't we? We like to be comfortable and at ease. So why in the world then would we want to pursue this journey of being weird? Well, the simple answer is in the second half of the title, the subtitle to this message and to this book, because the reality is normal isn't working. It's not. If I can be honest, although as I've mentioned, I've been accused more than once of being weird in my life, I find myself continually driven by this desire to fit in, to be normal, to be loved, to be accepted. And I don't think I'm alone in that. I think if we're honest, a lot of us are in that place, probably most of us, if not all of us. All of us have this need in us that we want to fit in. We want to be loved. We want to be accepted. We want to be considered normal, part of the group. It's honestly what drives a lot of people to church, is they're just looking for a place, man, I want people like me that I can get along with, that I can fit in. I also recognize as we talk about this, and let me just say, as I use the word normal, some of you may be thinking, and it can sound like sometimes as if we're talking about being average. And that's not at all what we're talking about here this morning. It's not about being average when we talk about being normal, because I know there are a lot of us in this room today, myself included, that have absolutely no interest in being average. I want nothing to do with being average in my life. There are times that I probably am just average, but I want nothing to do with that. We're motivated by something deeper. In fact, we're driven by a deep desire to be great. But most of us, even our pursuit of greatness is a pursuit of what is normal. We don't want to be just average normal. We want to be great at being normal. Let me explain what I mean by that. In other words, we want to do what everybody else wants to do, and we want to be great at it, don't we? We want the things in life that everybody wants to have, and we want to be great at getting them, don't we? We want people to look up to us as those who have done a great job of achieving what everybody else wants to achieve, what's considered normal. So things like, and this is an exaggeration, but things like the house with the white picket fence and the 2.5 kids and the dog in the yard and the pool and the boat and the cars and the money and the successful career, and these are the things that we give our lives to. It's what's normal. But let's talk for a minute about what the pursuit of normal has really gotten us. What is normal? Think about it for a minute. What's normal in your schedules today? What's normal when it comes to time? Overwhelmed? Rushed? Stressed? Panicked? Never enough time for what's truly important, do we? Because we're overwhelmed with the urgent, and we're missing out on the quality. That's what's normal. What's normal when it comes to money today? I mean, let's just be really honest. Normal is the pursuit of material things which never truly make us happy, even though we're convinced that someday they will. If we could just get this, then we'll truly be happy. And then we get that, and we're still not happy. Well, I must be because I really need to have this, and that'll actually make me happy. And then we get that, and well, that doesn't actually make me happy.